Happy Camper Radio, episode 62. Come on, let's go camping. Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the Happy Camper Radio Show, the only place you need to be when you're ready to talk camping. Camping is what we're about. Camping is all we talk about, and we have finally reached that day, Daniel, when we got out of the studio and we're out here breathing in the natural fresh air. We are podcasting on location from the campground at Stone Mountain Park in beautiful Stone Mountain, Georgia. And although you're not camping, you are here with us.
I am.
Yeah, you made the trip over. I've got to give
all
you
3 miles.
Hey, Daniel. I even offered you a plate of spaghetti.
I know.
You turned it down.
Well, I might have a little bit later on.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
That
I'm
tells
getting
us
there.
you're going to stay here for a while?
Maybe.
Okay.
I gotta get in on that fire action.
Yeah, why not?
I love a campfire.
We bought plenty of wood.
I see that half your truck is full of it.
I know. We still have a couple more nights here.
Oh, boy.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
I've got to say this, Daniel. And maybe some of our listeners can relate to exactly what I'm saying. But I've camped all my life, and almost every time I go out on a camping trip, I have an agenda. I have a schedule. Especially if I am camping in an environment like I am now, where there is just so much to do and so little time to squeeze everything in.
Yeah.
When you get to your campsite, when you get your camp set up, you just get downright lazy.
Maybe you do.
I know I do.
Probably the first day.
I have said for the longest time, planning for this trip, day one I'm going to do this, day two I'm going to do that. And it didn't work out that way. It just didn't. I've spent a lot of time in my recliner, and I'm never going to get used to that.
Well, usually what happens is we'll get set up, we'll get going, and then we'll start doing our things. But like about the third or fourth day into it, we'll be like, okay, we got to rest. We are doing way too much. Yeah, it's nap time.
Now let's stop here for a moment, because you came here to the park earlier today.
I did.
And you and your wife, Deidre, welcome. You are here.
Hello.
Yes, the microphone can pick you up from way over there, and you're sitting in a camping chair.
Hey, microphone.
You look so natural.
Don't pick up my wife microphone.
You look
That's
so
my wife.
natural. No, she picked up a water bottle, and she's not sharing.
I know. That's messed up.
But you both came over here to the park for the purpose of, one, climbing the mountain, and two, you were going to go kayaking on the lake.
We were.
But
and you became what, Daniel? Too tired?
Well, I
You
do work
changed your mind.
6 days a week, 9 hours a day, no big deal, Got to get the mail out, Skip. Come on now.
Does he overexert himself at the house that much, Deidre?
He does. I have to be fair.
Yeah. Okay, well,
He does.
you get a pass this time.
Yes, I do.
But anyway, your plan was to go kayaking, and I'm glad you called, or no, you texted me and told me that you were not going to go kayaking because your trip up to the mountain wore you out.
We started out later.
I started posting on Facebook today. And incidentally, folks, for those of you who have been following us on Facebook, I have posted a lot of pictures, a lot of different things about what I have been doing since I've been camping here. And I've been here at the park since Friday. And today is Sunday, and I still got a couple more days to go. So it's, I'm right in the middle of everything. But I was in the process of posting another post, should I say, on Facebook. I was really hoping that you and Deidre were going to go kayaking and kind of navigate your way by the campsite here, because I had my iPhone in hand. I was going to snap a picture of Deidre pushing you overboard.
I don't think that would happen.
That would have been priceless.
It would have been priceless.
It would have been, except I would have gone in the water too, and that wouldn't have been cool.
Well, I would have got a picture of that as well. But anyway, hey folks, you can get in touch with us here at the Happy Camper Radio Show anytime by calling our hotline 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and add us to your circles on Google+. Of course, you can access any one of our social media sites very simply by going to our homepage, which is www.happycamperradio.com. And while you're there, make sure you click on the RSS feed button. And this way you can subscribe to the show and you'll never miss a single episode. Daniel, I want to talk a little bit about some of the activities we've been doing here at the Stone Mountain Park Campground. I'm not really going to go into any particular subject matter today because we have been having so much fun doing this.
You're a lot more talkative when you get out here.
You
Sometimes
notice that?
at the house, you really don't talk a lot, but you kind of come out of your shell when you're at
Daniel,
the campground.
It's kind of surprising in a way because, you know, when I'm out here, I am resting more than anything. Now, maybe it's because I have rested most of the day. And now I just had a delicious spaghetti dinner, and I am pumped up. I'm excited about doing the show here. I've got to say, for the most part, the weather has cooperated.
Right.
Last night, we had a nasty event. All right, and it happened at 2:30 this morning. And folks, and this is something else I want to reiterate, and I talked about this before. If you are a primitive camper like myself, now Daniel, this does not apply to you.
No, it doesn't. I would be in my pop-up resting it up.
But if you tent camp and you pitch your tent and you use those tiny little stakes that come with your tent in order to secure it to the ground, you're going to be in deep trouble.
Oh, tell us more, Skip.
This morning, there were some nasty, nasty winds that was accompanied by rain and lightning. And
exciting.
My brother and I were in my tent. And, you know, if you've been to the website before and looked at some of the camping pictures, you've seen my tent. You know what my tent looks like.
Right. I've seen the cat in the tent.
We were quickly awakened last night by, first of all, this unbelievable wind that came across the lake, followed by raindrops and lightning and thunder. The wind, I almost thought we had a hurricane coming through. I'm sorry to say this, and I'm not trying to scare any of our listeners away. I want you to enjoy camping, and, you know, don't worry too much about the weather. I mean, unless you look at the forecast and it's going to be 100% chance of showers all week long, then you may want to turn around and think about going out. But, you know, we haven't had that type of situation this week. But last night, those winds moved right on in, and I saw the tent just kind of rocking back and forth.
Right.
If it weren't for those 8 or 9 inch long tent stakes that I have, okay, the tent would have gone up here on the road with my brother and I inside it.
That would have been funny. You've been like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz.
I'll tell you what was not funny is my brand new canopy that I had covering the campground right in front of my tent.
Yeah.
That went flying. And it stumbled maybe about 10 to 15 feet away from the camp. And luckily, I mean, it hit this embankment here and didn't hit another tent where another party was sleeping.
That would have been funny.
All right. But, you know, it wasn't as secured as I really should have secured it.
Right.
I went ahead and I took it back to the house today, and it's going to need some repairs. I'm going to have to go online and find some parts. But I will get that done and get it taken care of in time for the next camping trip. We had some people staying below us here.
Yeah.
They came in last night. Rick, what time did they get here? About 2 in the afternoon, somewhere around there?
Somewhere about that.
Okay, yeah, husband and wife and their kids. They came on. And my brother Rick, we're going to bring him over to the microphone here in just a little bit so he has an opportunity to talk. Also, I had my brother-in-law Jim come to enjoy us, and he brought his son Daniel.
What? There's another one?
We got 2 Daniels at this camp.
He's my doppelganger.
Oh, my heavens. Stereo Daniel.
Exactly. There you go.
But, I'll tell you, we just got through that storm. Jim and his wife and his son were with us last night, too. And he did exactly what the folks below us did. When that storm just come roaring through here, the thunder and lightning, they just grabbed their tent, they threw it in their vehicle, didn't bother folding it up or doing anything like that. We are out of here.
Wow.
Right.
That's how you primitive people do it.
No, the primitive people like myself. We actually, I got a hold of this canopy of mine in the frame, and you got to keep in mind we're dealing with metal poles here.
Right.
The thunder and the lightning, one more quick bang, and that was it.
Oh.
It was time to get inside the truck.
Inside the truck?
Inside the truck because,
How's that camping?
Daniel, the tires The tires on the truck is going to prevent you from being grounded, in case there's a lightning strike.
Oh.
So we went in and we just kind of played it cool for a bit.
Right.
And we were in that truck maybe no more than about 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. I thought y'all maybe spent the night or something.
No, the storm passed that quickly.
Oh, wow.
And we were able to go back inside the tent. Now, we still had a cool breeze, which I've got no problem with that.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a rain fly on the tent. I always put that on because you just never know when some of these last-minute showers and clouds may, come over top of you there and just, dump God's gift on top of your head. So I want to make sure that, that the top is well protected because there is a screen up on the top and I don't want any water coming inside the tent.
Uh-huh.
But, no time at all, we were sound asleep again.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Long before Jim and the family made it home.
Oh, okay.
But, the good news is they came back to visit us.
They didn't learn their lesson? Boy, they do not quit.
They're not staying, but, they did come back to camp. We're glad to have them here. And, they enjoyed a great dinner.
Uh-huh.
And, what time is it right now? I mean, it's probably about maybe 7 o'clock, somewhere around there.
7:27.
The good news is we still have some daylight hours.
Oh, yeah.
And by the time the show is over, we are going to be relaxed. We're going to be sitting by the fire. I saw them breaking out some marshmallows here, so we're going to...
Yeah, they got those giant ones now.
A lot of fun with that.
Deidre's tearing them up.
Yeah. So anyway, hey, let's bring Jim on over behind the microphone here. I know he has been dying for the longest time to be on the show. Now, we've talked about Jim on a couple of different occasions, and it was all good stuff. But, Jim Peebles, we are so glad to have you here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep, good to see you again.
Yeah, good seeing you, too.
We've been camping a lot.
We certainly have. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to get you a little bit closer to the microphone here, Jim. Oh, it's stardom.
Oh, look at this. Joe's cool now.
He had to bring the sunglasses out. He thought the big spotlights were on him, and it's actually the sun. I'm the one that's playing it smart. I'm the one with my back turned to the sun. I've been facing the sun all day long in my recliner.
Till it goes over Stone Mountain. I'm staring right at Stone Mountain. So.
Yeah, but Jim, you have been camping with the family. You've been a part of the family for, oh my heavens, so many years. And how you married into this family is totally beyond me. But I don't want to get involved in that discussion right now.
Old as dirt, Dad.
Old as dirt.
Yeah. But, you have one of your kids that are living down here with you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. And the rest of them are up
the
north.
The first litter, yes.
Yeah.
True.
And I'll tell you what, they have your blood. They really do. Because every one of them are campers.
Yes.
Just like yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And even little Dan here was just dying to go camping. I said, you guys were going to be doing this show out here. And he was like, when are we going? When are we going? Here he comes.
Yeah. Is this the other little Daniel? Mm-hmm. Okay, Daniel, you can get behind the microphone and say hello.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hello, we're good to have you on the program here. This is the Happy Camper Radio Show, and you really haven't been on the radio before, have you? Mm-mm. This is going to be a first time for everything. I couldn't think of a better radio program to be on than Happy Camper Radio.
Us either.
Us either.
But, Jim, I know you have been camping, long before I even met you.
Yep.
So it's this part of the camping world. I mean, for two of us to be in it, it's got to be something special.
There was an interesting synergy of meeting your brother and you and he and cousins. We've been camping all over North America.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were at one time a friend of my brother's, and then somehow you met my sister.
And then he wasn't a friend, and then he was
and then he wasn't
again.
A friend no more.
I warned you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But, I want to take an opportunity to thank you for coming over here and join us at Stone Mountain Park, at the Stone Mountain Park Campground, where we are podcasting on location this week. And, Jim, this is not your first time over at the park either, is it?
No, we love this park. We've been coming here for the fireworks and climbing the mountain since I got here in '98.
Mm-hmm. And it's been quite an experience. And every time you come over here, there's always something new going on.
Yeah.
We
were actually today talking about bringing the kayak or canoe out for the lake.
But, and I wouldn't mind being on that lake myself. Maybe on the Henry Grady paddle boat down here.
Yeah.
Just take a ride that way. But maybe that's about as far as I'm going to go. You're not going to get me with a set of oars in my hand. That's just too much like work.
It's
when I come out
interesting.
and to relax at a campsite.
It's interesting, Skip. I actually have a picture of you on one of your first excursions on this lake with your uncle.
What year are we going back to, Jim?
Oh my
18,
goodness.
what was it?
1980, 79, somewhere in there, when the park was young. Before the mountain rose out of the ground.
I was
No.
kind of like Daniel back in those days. I had long hair,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a hippie.
and I was being chased around by my grandmother with a
We
pair
all
of scissors
had
in hand.
hair.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a real strange part of my life growing up. But this is going back into 1979, to be honest with you.
Yep.
So, it goes to show you how long, we have, spent some time here at the park. And, and Daniel has been riding my case all week long
Yeah,
about,
it's a hard case.
about camping just a few miles from home.
Three, Skip.
Depends if you're going around the world, which direction. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They took the shorter route.
7,000 miles from home.
Exactly. The other way.
But, everybody has to have a place that's not too far away, just in the event that you come home from work on a Friday, you've got the weekend to look forward to, and you just get this sudden urge to throw the gear in the back of your vehicle and go somewhere. You should have someplace close, someplace
true.
that you can go to. And folks, believe me when I tell you, this campground has a lot of activities, a lot of amenities, a lot for people to do. And it's only a short distance away from Atlanta. It's only about 15 minutes outside of the metro Atlanta area.
And last night, it was, before the storm, it was just packed with people and kids running around.
Yeah,
having a great
and
time.
add being here at summertime, that on top of that, yeah, so there is hardly anywhere to move. Now, being the fact that it's Sunday night, most of the people who were here have checked out. A lot of them, I'm sure, probably their vacation is ending. Maybe they're going back to work. So we don't have too many folks camping around us right now. I really wish we had more, because I would love to have invited some of these folks over here to camp to be on the show.
Yeah, there were a lot of families last night that would have probably come running once they saw those microphones come out.
No doubt about it. Hey, and I don't know if you have been following the website here, Jim, but we have made a new friend, Daniel and I. His name is Gary. Gary is hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, yeah.
And we have been talking him up probably for the past 4 weeks. And he's doing very well. He started here in Georgia. He is planning on ending his trip in Maine in about 6 months from now.
Yeah.
And that is a long hike.
Yep.
I was poking fun of him last week on the show because he's standing by this sign that says he has a little over 1,900 miles to go yet. And he's got this smile on his face like, wow, I would look at that sign and probably drop dead of a heart attack.
Me too.
Yeah, but hey, I got to give the guy a lot of credit. In fact, I haven't had too much time to visit the website, but I saw that he posted something just the other day. He is, I believe, in Irwin, Tennessee. I think I've got it right. I don't have my notes here in front of me, but he is well over the 300-mile mark and just stocked up for food. And he's mentioning, and I can understand this, every time you stock up, you're carrying more supplies, you're carrying more weight. And obviously, you notice that when you're hiking.
Yeah, and there's some heavy terrain. Your brother and I have camped up in the Mount Rogers area right off the Appalachian Trail. And beautiful area. I'd suggest it to anybody. And you come over that portion of the trail into one of the better stops, which is Damascus, which is kind of a make it or break it if you're going to hike the trail.
I've only been on the Appalachian Trail once, and I accidentally came across it and quickly got off it. So that's my experience with the Appalachian Trail. I'm never going to be able to do what Gary is doing right now. But Gary has been calling the show periodically when he runs into an area where he has good cell phone coverage, and and we have him on the show, and we're looking forward to meeting up with him at some point after his venture, because he is going to be writing a book, and I'm very excited about that. I will make sure that I get one of the very first copies. But it's been a great pleasure and a great honor to know a guy like that. To be able to see what he's going through. He's not doing the type of camping that Daniel and I typically do. Daniel is even more relaxed than me when it comes to camping.
I know how to have fun, Skip. That's all
You
it
do,
is.
and then you got that new pop-up in mind.
Yeah, we're thinking about selling our old pop-up to Deidre's aunt and maybe trading up for a brand new camper.
Well, you've had it in the shop twice already. I think maybe it's time to go ahead and retire that in somebody else's backyard, and maybe take some of all that money that you've been spending on other things and put it toward a brand new pop-up camper. I can understand
Here's
that.
a secret, Skip. Actually, they stow it at the place where we're getting it fixed at Pico. We've had them on.
Right.
And I get free storage if it needs to be fixed. So that's my big secret. I'm getting free storage. It's not in my driveway.
You get free storage. You just haven't seen the bill yet.
It was pretty big last time. It was about $600 last time.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be too bad this time.
Well, Jim, I know you had to, suddenly get out of here last night because of the storms, and I do understand why. You've got your wife and your young son, young Daniel.
Yes, he was terrified.
You got them to
that
be worried
hit.
about.
Sure,
But like I was telling,
yeah.
telling Rick that you would be the last person under any circumstances to leave camp. And the only reason you obviously went ahead and packed up and left was because of them. And I totally understand that.
Well, it was tough holding the tent down with them in it. With the tornado.
As I was saying,
And
I was
the
scared half to death that if
Gale
my
force
tent
winds.
was not staked down well, that we would have been the flying tent. It would have grown some wings, and we would have been flying.
The canopy obviously went right over us, over into the next camper area, and I thought when I went out to look to see if I could gather up some of the blowing debris, and it took me a minute to realize it was missing. So and the tent was not staked down, and so the entire, it looked like a little balloon just throbbing from the wind, and
It's a give and take type situation.
And you
When
took
you're
it.
camping in
We took it.
a spot
And
like
ran.
we are, I wouldn't give up a spot by the lake for anything.
oh, it's gorgeous here.
The view is wonderful, except when the weather turns ugly. The wind comes through here, and everything has got to be secured.
It reminds me of that time as a youth at Camp Wanahakalugi, where when the sun was coming down over the Canadian Alps, and the moose were frolicking down by the river.
Wow.
Oh, look, crane. Look, Dan, look.
Thank God, hey, you aren't reading any show notes because you're more paying more attention to the birds than you are the show.
I like this guy, Skip. Can I have a show with him?
You
kind of
two are going to
old
work
hat.
that on.
Sorry.
Maybe you can have your
I
own
told
frog
you I'd been
pants
around these guys
episode.
too long.
Exactly.
You were on
that's
frog
okay.
pants again the other day,
I
Daniel.
was. What can I say? Are you getting jealous, Skip?
No,
You feel like I'm betraying you?
I tell you what I am fascinated by is the fact that this time you came in dressed up as Captain America. What was that all about?
I was Atlanta Boy. I've been dubbed on the show Atlanta Boy because he can't remember anyone's names. So I figured I'd be funny and dress up as Captain America and go on the show.
Heavens knows what they're calling you now.
Oh, I know, right? I got to catch up on the show, see what kind of business
I'm going to
going
have
on
to
there.
find that link and post it on the website like I did
Okay,
the last one.
I'll find it for you.
I just
I'll let you know.
haven't had the opportunity because I've been so busy preparing for this show right here that I just have not had the opportunity to do a lot of things. And that's okay. Anytime I go camping, I have no problem at all putting things on the back burner. All right. But anyway, Jim, hey, I want to take an opportunity to thank you so much for being on the show here. It's
been my pleasure.
And more than that is spending time with us here at camp because we don't really get to see you all that much.
Oh, it's,
Yeah,
I'm missing it. We used to camp yearly.
And do you hear that in the background?
That's a moose.
That is something I
that's a caboose.
wanted to mention at
Close.
the very beginning of the show. The Stone Mountain Scenic Railway, runs every day, and it is across the lake. It goes completely around Stone Mountain Park, which is like a 5-mile run. I have ridden the train a number of times, and one of the best opportunities you could ever have to ride the Scenic Railway is at Christmas time. When they have everything all lit up, they've got the Christmas music, they've got the lights, they've got the shows over here. It is a great place. And what's so great about this campground is the fact that it's open year-round.
Used to come here all the time. Used to get the
There are
year-round
attractions
passes.
in this park that operate year-round. It is one of the best family campgrounds I have ever come across. And it's located, Daniel, how far? 3 miles from
3
home?
miles from your house.
Nothing.
Why don't you tell the people at home how many times you've come home since you've been here?
I came to let your dog out.
My dog. Okay.
Okay.
That's your roommate's dog, Betty Crocker.
I let my dog out last night.
You've got to take care of the pets.
Right.
You've got to take care of the pets, and if that means you get up and you break away from the normal routine while you're away, you've got to do that.
No, I heard you.
I really, to be honest with you, I would have loved to have had him over here.
I heard another rumor that you forgot something at home and you had to come back on Friday or something.
I don't recall forgetting anything.
I think your roommate ratted you out.
No,
because you always talk about being prepared, but
Did you forget your Swiss Army knife?
He did.
I forgot what?
Your Swiss Army knife?
He forgot.
No, I carry
he forgot
it
his
with me
flint.
all time.
Canadian Army knife.
Do not accuse him of that.
Yeah.
But
anyway, just for those of you who are just now joining us here, we are podcasting on location from the campground at Stone Mountain Park in Stone Mountain, Georgia. It is Sunday. We are having the time of our life. The weather is perfect. Let's hope it stays that way. And whatever came roaring through here at 2:30 in the morning, we don't want to see that again throughout the duration of our trip.
She had a broom. I saw her, and there was a cow and a house. It was just before the canopy over your tent blew off.
Ah.
Well, Jim, hey, thanks again so much for being on the show.
My pleasure.
And thank you for spending time with us here at camp. I want to bring my brother Rick in, who listens to the show quite frequently while he is out working. And you typically do that when? On Thursdays, Rick?
Yeah, Thursdays. A buddy of mine, I'd like to give a shout out to him, Dave Del Bianco. Work with him at the Boys and Girls Club.
I think we had Dave giving us a shout out one
yeah,
time.
he did.
We put him
Yeah,
on
I think
the show,
he was
didn't
one of your first callers that called in to give a shout out on the show back in the early days.
we? Well, we're so glad to have Dave as one of our listeners too. And the show just keeps getting bigger and bigger and better.
That's what I hear. You
Each
get
week
people
goes
from
by.
Switzerland and Australia.
Yeah. Hey, and that reminds me, Daniel, I don't think we said hello to some of our newcomers this week. Yeah, how could we overlook that? We've got
shout out? Are we shouting out?
No, we're not shouting out, Daniel. We're going to go ahead and say hello this week to Jeff Hubbard, who is following us on Twitter. And also, we want to say hello to Rex Vogel of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, who added us to circles this past week on Google+. Welcome to the show, Jeff and Rex. Glad to have you on board. But Rick, you got here into town Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
I already had
Friday
camp.
afternoon.
I had camp all set up, and I have been working. And I have no problem saying this, but about an hour's sleep, 2 hours maybe a night. Just getting everything done, getting everything prepared for this particular trip, and I've got to admit I have been sleeping very well.
I have as well.
If it hasn't been in my recliner, it's been in the sleeping bag.
There's nothing like getting out in the fresh air to help you sleep through
And
the
the
night.
sad part about it is, it's like any camping trip. It goes by so fast.
I know. I just can't believe that we're already into Sunday here. It just seems like I just got here.
Yeah.
But still have some days ahead of us here, some more time to explore the mountain and just enjoy the scenery here.
And the natural sounds all around us. I mean, if it's not the scenic railway across the lake, it's an airplane flying on by. Wildlife is in abundance here. Mm-hmm. Those pesky little squirrels, we've had problems with them. What's going on with that?
They're very domesticated around here.
They came in and got into my hamburger buns yesterday.
And the day before.
Yeah, and I just went ahead and I took those buns and I fed them to the geese.
Yeah, I got some pictures of you. You have to put those on the website.
We already have one on Facebook. And that's the one you took of that one beautiful looking goose. That came up, and they have no problem getting up real close and posing.
Well,
as long as you've got some bait.
They're used to being fed, so I have this picture of you
in this park here, especially.
Yeah, and you're just surrounded by them. Mm-hmm. They're just waiting for their handout.
Yeah. That Rick, I want to take an opportunity to thank you for coming. It's been a very long time since you've been down here in Georgia.
It's been about 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and my first trip was down here, as you said, back in 1970s, the year I graduated. And yes, I'm old, but then for a while, I think it was like the late '80s, mid '80s, started coming down every year.
And I couldn't argue that the timing was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
because it was at that particular time I needed a break. I needed this trip right here.
Oh, I did.
And I think a lot of our listeners, oftentimes, whenever they pack up their gear and head out the door, are saying the same thing.
Oh yeah.
It's time to take a break. It's time to get away from it all. And that's exactly what we do. And we, unlike Daniel, we have the primitive site where, we have no electrical hookups, we have no water, and I don't mind going out and hauling the water on in. That's
container
something.
water serves us well.
Yeah, and it's the bathhouse is a little bit of a way, unless you have one of those portable johns in your side of your camper or your tent, you're going to have to walk up to the top of the hill. But there's nothing wrong with that either.
You need to get a golf cart, Skip. That's what my parents have.
You're always looking for luxuries, aren't you?
I'm just saying, Skip. That's the way to go.
Yeah, but anyway, Rick, you're going to be here through Tuesday or Wednesday. We got to break camp, unfortunately, Tuesday afternoon because I got to go back to the grind late Tuesday night.
That old job thing that gets in the way of having fun.
Yeah, the time that I really hate is when I have to pack all this gear up and store it away for the next trip. And, I just try to say in the back of my mind, let's hope that next trip is just around the corner. But Rick, hey, thank you so much again for taking time here to be with us here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad I finally got down here.
And you got to see the studio the other day?
Oh, gorgeous.
Yes, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, I got to see where all the magic happens.
That's where it normally happens every week when Daniel and I are doing the show. But, this is one of the first opportunities we had to come out here to the park and, just take some time away from everything and breathe in some of that fresh air.
Yeah, and we had your daughter here earlier.
Yes.
And we're talking, we haven't done this in a while, but we used to get the nieces and nephews all together and go up to Hiawassee.
We've got to do that again soon.
That's what she was saying. She wants to get up there, so we'll have to do a broadcast.
Do you realize how
there.
much younger they were back then? It almost seemed like yesterday.
Oh, I know.
And those kids grew up so fast.
Getting old.
Uh-huh. But, we're having the time of our life here. We're going to be doing it again soon. This will not be the last, and even though, you got to go back home here.
Don't bring that up yet.
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
Yeah, and I hate to see it come, but you know how to listen to the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Oh, yeah. Download it, and then Thursdays as we're driving around, we play it on...
And there's always a number of ways that folks can listen to our show. They can go to our website, which is www.happycamperradio.com. We're in the iTunes Store, the Stitcher, the Miro Guide podcast directories. So, there's always a number of ways that folks can listen to our show and pick up Daniel and I as we're talking about this great outdoor recreational activity called camping. And that's about all the time we're going to have. It's time to get back to some relaxation. Daniel, thank you so much for taking some time, even though you weren't camping this week, coming over here and enjoying the time with us.
No problem.
At Stone Mountain Park. We'll be back in the studio next week. Hey, folks, don't forget you can catch us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Tucker, and add us to your circles on Google+. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. Daniel's a happy camper. So is Rick and Jim and Deidre.
Yes,
and you, my friends, can be a happy camper too. We'll talk to you next week. This is Happy Camper Radio.